welcome to the Casa podcast. It's your boy Kojo again. I'm super excited to be here. Today we're going to try and have a different kind of conversation from the ones we usually have. This is going to be the battle of the ages, I guess. It's so apt and it's so funny that I have in the studio probably one of the most age I don't know. She does so many things with age. Everything has to come down to age for her, and she's going to be a very big advocate for every other age, but the age we're going to be talking about. I have Casey Frost in the house, guys. How you doing? And welcome to the show. How you guys doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm good. I just didn't like the introduction. I don't do anything with age, please.
You didn't like the introduction. I have never
Stay
met
off
someone
TikTok.
who underlines everything with age, like usage of apps, where people can go and where they can't go. Everything comes down to age for you. Like if I'm not, I might even call you a little ageist.
Not yet.
Don't be surprised, but hey, I know the people on Twitter and the people who follow you would have days they would be like, damn, she's being a little ageist. But I think it's par for the course in this conversation. It's really par for the course in this conversation.
TikTok.
Yeah,
Song
you
is
can
in
go
the
on
build,
TikTok. Give me a
man.
30 plus, please.
Exactly. Again, I apologize to my audience who are 30 and above, but if you're a boy, has so many things you can't do if you're above 30. And she acts as though she would never be 30. It's only in a few years.
I can't wait though. That's the truth. I really can't wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those who just joined the live stream, we're super excited you're here, and those watching the replay, hey, next time catch the live stream. It's always fun. Song is in the building and he's promising to mark the register in 5 minutes. It's been a minute, Song. I hope you're doing well. My man, Kwesi Frost. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's the boss man himself.
Age shaming.
Yeah,
If you're a boy, you're known.
Education minister in Ghana. Mr.
You're
Song.
known.
Yeah.
Mr. Song is here. Rashid is present. Grace is in the building. Grace, I hope you're doing well. So we're going to get into the conversation. And before we do, I know we hear a lot of this all over the place. Millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, baby boomers. And for a lot of us, right, it's tricky because a lot of us might not know where we fall. And so just before we get into the conversation, we'll do a little, we'll educate ourselves just a little bit. These are some graphs, right? For those of you listening to the audio, I've put up a graph on the screen, and these graphs are from 2018, but it does the job just fine. So for the generations, right, is what we call the silent generation, which is probably majority of the oldest people we have on the planet at the moment. Those were born between 1928 and 1945. In 2018, they would have been between 70 and 94. Several years on, like 5-6
And
years
90.
on. 70 and 90, my bad. They're pushing it now. They're in their 95. 90. Yeah, they're getting closer to 100. Those are the silent generation. After the silent generation, we have the baby boomers, born between 1946 and 1964. And these are my favorite people. The 54 and 70-year-olds, as of 2018, that's how old they would have been. The next generation is Gen X. Often they are the overlooked generation, at least for those of us alive. The Gen X are the overlooked generation between 1965 and 1980.
They
right?
are my favorite
And-
people though.
And then we come to my gang, my people. Those of us born between 1981 and 1996, we are the millennials you've been hearing so much about. If you've been hearing the millennials, yes, that's us. We're born between 1981 and 1996. Then comes the white generation, the kiddos, the iPhone generation people, those born in 1997 and 2012. Those who don't know the connection between...
There's another generation after Gen Z.
Oh,
because
yeah,
we are not
yeah.
the kiddies.
Yeah, no, but you're still the kiddos. You guys still don't know that the relationship
iPods.
between the iPad generation. You people don't know the relationship between a cassette tape and a pencil. You don't know the relationship between you don't even know
Here
how
we go.
infrared
Here
phones
we
work.
go with the shaming. We don't know
So,
anything. It's fine.
so
It's
yes,
fine.
Gen Zs are those born between 1997 and 2012. And so for today, our conversation is going to be around, I don't know if these are misconceptions, but these are like apt descriptions and how society is shaping up to be. It looks like millennials and Gen Zs are finding it very difficult to settle down, get married, have what traditionally looked like what life used to be, right? You get through school, you get a job, you get married, you settle down, you start making your babies, you start settling, like basically making up your family and running things. And it looks like millennials and Gen Zs are having a hard time, and there's so many reasons. So right today we're going to sort of have a conversation around this. We're going to settle this. Why does this happen? Why is it so difficult for millennials to settle down and do things that is expected of their age range, right? By 40, you're expecting people to be in certain places in their lives, right? But millennials are not there, and there are reasons to that. And so today, one Gen Z and one millennial are going to help me unpack these things. Guys, are you ready for this conversation?
I think so.
Yeah,
I am.
okay.
I am.
I guess.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I bet you are. And so if you're in the comments, if you're in the live stream right now, and if you're watching the replay, tell me in the comment section what you think the main reason why millennials and Gen Zs are not going through life and hitting the milestones we're expecting of them. When you should have built your house at this point, you should have been married at this point, you should have a job, a steady income. Why are millennials and Gen Zs not hitting these milestones? Let me know. I really want to
Let's
hear
leave
from
Gen Zs out for a minute. Let's just see why millennials.
The funny thing is the oldest Gen Zs are now really, how old are they now? 26, 27?
20, no, the oldest, the oldest should be 26, 25,
26, 27.
Yeah.
You guys are pushing it. And there's lot.
No, 25.
97?
The oldest, yes, should
Yeah,
be 25.
no, if you were born on January 1st, 1997, you should be 26.
Yeah, 26.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you 26, 27. And there's still expectations. Funny enough, these days we have expectations of 4-year-olds. Like a 4-year-old shows up and they're like, why don't you drive? Like people have some ridiculous expectations. But ridiculous expectations aside, guys, let's get into the conversation. What are some of the reasons millennials in particular and Gen Zs to a large extent are not hitting these milestones that is almost expected of them? What do you guys think? Quizzy Frost, let me start with you.
Yeah.
I thought ladies first, man.
No, millennials first.
Millennials first. Let's hear the millennial argument. Why are we not doing it?
There's a lot. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot. It's not easy or easier, whichever word I can, as compared to before. Now, there's a lot of factors. Before, what you needed high school diploma, jobs that you needed a high school diploma to do. Now you need a bachelor's degree,
a master's,
right?
even,
or a master's, even, right? Like the requirements are off the roof. The basic requirement that the gatekeepers are asking now is ridiculous, right? There are more people in the world now, so there's more competition, right? For jobs, school, whatever placement. There's more people now. So it's not easy to just go to school, you graduate, there's a job waiting for you, you meet the girl at the grocery store, at school, wherever, you date 2 months or 3 days, you meet a parent, you get married, buy a house in the suburbs, buy a nice car, your kids go to nice school. Like that dream is like, I don't want to say it's dead. I think it's nice. It's been cooled down. It's cooled down now.
It's getting okay.
And there's a lot of things working against us, or that worked against us. It's like wrong timing. Maybe we were born at the wrong time. I don't know,
but wait, Quizzy, it looks like you've given us like a million reasons. Like, let's take them one at a time, because it looks like I am losing track of all the reasons.
Because there's a million reasons why.
I know, but I would like us to give all these reasons a fair shakedown. It wouldn't be fair to just list the reasons and not give them a fair shakedown. You did mention something, and I want us to revisit that because it's an interesting one. You'd say there are a lot more people in the world today, increasing competition. But which generation could not say that? At every point in time in the human, like in the societal evolution, there's been the most people in the world. So in the 60s, there were more people in the 60s than in the 50s. And so people in the 50s could have said the exact same things we are saying. What makes ours special? AY, what makes the whole argument that, hey, there are a lot more people. We have so much competition. And in the case of getting married and settling down, it's a plus. There's a lot to choose from. What exactly is your point? What's the argument?
I think when it comes to settling down, a lot of the reason is I think there's a change in how we see societal norms and rules, how things were laid down. Now, most of the millennials and Gen Zs are less conformist. Like, they don't want to conform to the things that used to be. They want to change things. I feel like, okay, this is how things used to be, right? So we think this is not, it's not healthy, so let's look at it in this direction. We are trying to look at our perspective before we decide on what we want. And again, as you mentioned, you said it should be a plus when you have a lot of options to choose from, but sometimes if you look at it, it's like a disadvantage rather than an advantage, right? When you think you have a lot of options, it becomes really difficult to choose. Yes. Like you'd rather you had just two options, A, B, go, than to have 5 different options to weigh.
Okay.
It's that thing that it's that illusion that if you have a lot of options, you have a better chance of choosing the right thing. You actually have a better chance of choosing the wrong thing.
The wrong thing.
Yes. And so looking at it from that way, we are more skeptical, I guess.
Interesting. I really want to explore this a little more. And I think your sentiment is being echoed by Amanda in the chat. I'm going to read some of the comments that are coming in, and we'll get back to this whole non-conformist thing. Hale J says they're focusing on the now factor, and the now is in quotes. I would like to hear more about this now factor. They're thinking ahead. I believe this is millennials Hale is talking about. Amanda said because we are non-conformist, and again, like I said, we'll come back to this non-conformist conversation because it's an interesting one. Rashid is saying Gen Zs especially have too many conveniences at their disposal. Fast food against traditional meals, automated vehicles against manual transitions.
Oh my God! Don't make this argument.
I think you have to continue this, Rashid. There's a lot more you need to say, and I think Hale was agreeing with AY. Nanama gave you 100. She completely agrees with some of the sentiments. But again, back to this non-conformist thing. I'm not sure I'm buying this non-conformist thing.
Why?
If you guys pay any attention to history, I think one of the most non-conforming generations was the boomers. Do you guys remember the boomers and the hippie generation? They were the non-conformists. They would not go to war. They would push back against everything. The silent generation, and the reason why they're the silent generation is they were born in probably the most tumultuous time in world history. They endured 2 world wars. Some of them endured 1 world war, and there was that our worlds are close to, our nations are close to war so much. We don't want to break any eggs. We don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to speak ill against anybody. At least we go to war again, because they knew what world wars looked like. The boomers came around and they were not listening to anyone. Exactly. The trauma made them very silent. But the boomers were like, no, we're going to change industry. We're going to bring the labor force. We're going to bring a lot more women in. We're going to transform society. So boomers, they fought for social justice and all that. They were the ones that were pushing these things. And then the Gen Xers, they're often forgotten, but they held this thing together. They were the glue that put this thing together. When the social change happened, when we need to create a new world, we need to reorient ourselves, we need to build things that will make us survive in this world. The Gen Xers kept this going. They invented all the stuff we came to build on, right? And so when it comes to non-conformity, it looks like since the world wars, progressively, younger people have just been non-conformist. You see those Bernie Sanders and Nana Akufo-Addo and them, they were the people marching in the streets, revolting, saying when they were in school, they were the ones tearing things down. They were the ones striking for the liberties and the freedoms we have now. And so I don't think we're the most non-conformist generation. And so if we're going to put that aside, because every generation thinks they're the non-conformist, then trust me, the next generations are going to think, man, what is internet? We're going to do better. Everybody thinks they're going to do better. So I don't necessarily think non-conformity is why we're not. I'm not buying that argument. You guys help me out.
I think so. Maybe I get where you're coming from with, at every point in time, that particular generation think, oh, we are the generation that are very non-conforming. But as you grow older, things change, right? So at this particular point, now that the other generations are not, well, let me say, old enough, I would say we are the non-conforming, especially when it comes to societal norms, like things that are expected of you in the society, like settling down, as we were talking about, right? So people expect you to settle down at the age of 28 or before 80 or something, when you don't have your shit together, when you're still in school, when you don't have a job, when you don't have a home, you're still living with your parents, it's difficult. And now people are trying to say this is not how you see the world. It's not necessarily like we are an exception, but it's just like at the moment, the things that are expected of us, we are just like, this is not what we can do.
I have to ask you this thing again, because it was funny when you first mentioned it, but now I'm thinking about it. You said the availability of choice is what makes making the decision even more difficult, because you guys are saying, listen, back when we had no clothes and we only had one clothes, we didn't go stand in the closet and be like, what am I wearing to school today? You just wore what you have. Now you guys are spoiled for choice, and for some reason that's also a reason why you guys are not settling down.
It's an illusion, right? A lot of people think when they have a lot of options. Okay.
I mean, the availability, are we adding quality to it?
There we go.
Because I think this is from that point, from what AY is saying, availability, right? People say, oh, there's a lot of fishes in the sea, right? But then there's some people that don't eat certain type of fish, right? They want just this type of fish, like. So I think quality is a it's not problem. Quality is a factor here, because let's use example back when or maybe the baby boomers, a lot of the men who go to where they have factories, the Industrial Revolution, right? They have factory jobs, manufacturing. They were doing stuff. They were bringing home the bag, cheddar, bacon, whatever you want to call it, right? They were bringing home bags of money. Their wives were taking care of the home, right? They bring the money, give it to their wife, and at least the story I heard from my wife's grandma, the men bring home the money, they give it to the wife takes care of the home, right? Now the wives are what? They have corporate jobs. They're coding, they're doctors, they're dentists, the gender that one generation, most of them, they kept them at home to nurture and whatever out now too, right? So so there's options. So now they've seen things and they've seen that, okay, maybe we were told this is the quality we should look for in a man or a woman, but now that we're out, we're seeing it for ourselves, right? So we get
that is more out there, and then that is the difficulty when it comes to choosing. Yeah.
right?
So, in terms of difficulty in choosing, right? I'm trying here. Let me let you guys in on a secret. And for my audience, I'm trying to make a millennials case. But these guys are not helping the case. They're killing us. They are saying things that are making us look even worse off than we already were. To say that we're not settling down because we're spoiled for choice plays right into the stereotype. You guys don't want to settle down because you guys want to play the field. You guys want to, be kids forever. That's kind of not the argument, or that's not kind of. I don't want to believe that millennials are just confused. We don't know who to choose from. Right?
Oh no, we're not confused.
Exactly, and with the quality thing, I don't know, but I think if you standardized the quality of human beings around would probably be the same. If there are 30% good people on the planet, across all generations, they're going to be 30%. Yes, they're going to be more nominally for us, because if they're 30% of 100, it's definitely more than 30% of 60. I agree. But I think good quality people are going to be almost the same. Do you guys think, even if it varies, I don't think the variance is going to be significant enough. It's not going to be like there were 30% quality people in the 50s and now they're 50%.
Like you mean the starting point of quality is probably going to be the same. That I would probably agree with, right?
Interesting.
Because a lot of things can come into the quality, right?
Yep.
If you say quality human being.
No, but again, however you define it, I don't think millennials are better than any other generation. I don't think that. As a millennial, I don't think we're better than anybody. I've seen my friends, and I've seen my parents, and I've seen my uncles. I think good people, being good transcends age. So I think good is good. People who are good in one generation would be good in all the generations. That's what I am thinking. I don't think we're better than the people who came before us. And so in terms of, are there good people out there? I think there are always good people out there. I think there are other complexities, right? What do you guys think? And this is probably just me spitballing. Aside us not being able to make up our mind and there are too many people and all that, are there not systemic problems that hinder us? For example, how we were oriented into this world. Back when we were growing up, right? Education was made to be the most important thing. It was our priority. I remember when I was a kid watching TV, you'd have send your girl child to school, you'd have stay in school, you'd have don't do this, stay in school. And I think millennials, and I think the data even supports it, millennials have stayed in school longer than everyone else. I can speak for myself because I've been in school for more than 30 years and I'm still here. and it's like, well, if I was a silent generation or a baby boomer, I'd have been to war already. Like 17, you've already enlisted. When you're back from the war, you're not going back to school. You're finding a job, you're settling down. And so systemically, we've been pushed to think of what the ideal life looks like. Finish school, get a good paying job, then buy a house, then settle down. And so this has been beaten into our heads, has been spoken to us, has been drummed into us so much. And now we go and do exactly that, and they turn us around and tell us, if you are going to school too much, why are you going for a master's? And the annoying thing, especially in our part of the world, when they say, you're going for a master's, who will marry you? I don't know if you guys hear that, right?
Oh, I never heard that.
Oh, you've never heard it?
It's actually for ladies, it's crazy. Like you get masters.
Say that you're going to do a
marry
master's.
you.
And don't you guys think this has played a role? Because it looks like we're overachieving. Like as a collective, the percentage of millennials getting higher education, getting all these big degrees and diplomas is more than at any point in human history. It's like we're being forced to stay within the system or the matrix, as some people would. Don't you think
it's also? I mean, I get the orientation part, but don't you think it's also because of our idea of success and how we want to see ourselves, right? Like people don't want to do, everyone wants a white collar job. Everyone wants to do this. Like we have stereotypes of certain kind of job. If you work like, how do they call them? the craftsmen, those things, even though it's like
Yeah.
it's makes it fetches you a lot of money, but people give it some, certain, I don't want this kind of job.
Yeah,
I
they
want
have a
this kind of job.
negative.
Yes, and so sometimes it's not anybody but us again. So if you're looking at it like, okay, I'm looking at this to make money and go on with that, yeah, I think we can actually settle early, but everyone wants something
I
different.
think
Everyone wants to make the most.
if you don't you think maybe we've been conditioned by the people that the generation that raised us? They conditioned us based on what they were looking at, not realistically. Things that they didn't have, right? Or things that they didn't do.
Yeah, but I don't like
had
to
a
blame
dream.
people.
Maybe.
We
at some
may
point,
not want to
somebody-
blame anyone,
somebody gotta
but
take the blame,
anyway,
but
the
we're sharing it.
conversation, but the conversation around this, and it's not necessarily blaming people, but think about it this way. I think we're one of the first generations where the people who raised us, our parents, most parents were dying to not make their kids like them. For a long time in human history, right? Tailors wanted their kids to be tailors, take up the craft, take on the family business. And that's why for a long time, it even became family names, right? Oh, Kevin Taylor, because, they're from a long line of tailors. These are warriors, a long line of warriors. But for us, it's like in the post-war period, and when people went through all this, you'd have people who were like, menial jobs, like a secretary at a job. It's like, my son is going to be a lawyer. Where those ones that our professions were called out to us even before we could speak. Oh, Kojodia, you're going to be a doctor. Hey, Kevin, and it was like everybody didn't want their kid to be them. And it's like, what is happening here? Because you did exactly what grandpa did, and you're not making me do what you're doing. It's like, yeah, I'm a chemist, right? But I want you to be a chemical engineer. It's not easy. If it was that easy, you would have been there, right? So our generation, not anybody's fault, but as a collective, there was so much pressure put on us, and people pushing people out of certain professions that these days anything is considered being settling for a job. Like, what does your son do? Oh, he's a nurse. That's what he settled for? No, it's a job. Society needs nurses, right? It's like, for us, almost everything you do is like you've settled. Oh, what does he do? Oh, he's a teacher. Oh my God, that's what he could do. His friends are getting masters and no.
I think that's because you still hear these things where people say, "Oh, I'm not settling. He has to make this amount of money. He has to look this way. He has to work here. He has to live here, drive that. I'm not settling. At what point do we settle? So we're going to be running in circles to die? Like, at what point?
You've made a good point, and I want us to really look at that point. It's even the conversation around these things, how we have the conversation around marriage and all that. Look at the words we use. Oh, settle down. And just, it's not like anybody is trying to be negative, but it has a negative connotation. Settle down that what? So it looks as if everyone who is not married has not settled down. They're free. They're living life. But you can be married and so instead of, back in the day, like, oh, start a family. That's a more positive thing. You're creating something.
I don't think we should blame. We have that negative idea attached to it, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with settling. Like, I don't think there's anything.
Even when it comes to me, no, I'm just looking at it as a phrase.
Even when it comes to making choices, taking things, oh, this is what you finally settled for. Like, it's just we thinking you go below average when we think of settling. Like, people, the moment you say settle, it's like, oh, this is below average.
Yeah,
but I think it's just us.
We've created for ourselves, right?
But that is also how the phrase works. Like, you can say the exact same thing in a more positive way, right? I'm going to start life with this person instead of I'm settling down with this person. No, it's if someone said,
wrong with settling down, Kojo. It's just how we think of it.
I am not saying, but it has you see. So you could say the exact same thing, and we could be more positive about the phrases we use, right? Instead of using things like, why haven't you settled down? right? We could put a more positive spin on it, and it's a collective. Words have power. The way we use words and the kind of words we choose to use. Like, if someone told you, a young man comes to you and it's like, listen, I have really lived life and I want to finally settle with you. It's very different from, I really want to build a life with you. I see my future with you. I want us to build a family together. It's the exact same phrase, but one of them is just off. And I feel like we've hackened on, and sometimes even in tree, I'm going to use a tree phrase, which grinds my gears. Yanawari. And for those of you who don't speak, hurry up and get married. I'm like, it's not a race. Like, you could say the exact same thing without making it look like, just get it out of the way. No, that's not what it is. It's probably going to be the biggest decision of my life. You don't just get it out of the way. And I feel as a collective, how we speak about things influences whether or not people want to do it, right? Because Yanawari doesn't urge people to actually consider it. But man, it's time to start building something. It's time to start building a family. Now it feels as though, you're about to embark on something rather than you're about to. It's like your life is about to end when you're settling down.
People, no. I get what Kojo is saying, because I remember I told my big brother that when I was moving from one state to where I am now, and he was like, oh, so that's where you're gonna try to start a family and all that. I'm like, yeah, but not necessarily, because I want to live in a couple more states before pick one, this is where I'm stuck. And then his response was like, oh, right now you have a wife, so you need to settle down. I'm like, listen, right now you have a wife, so you need to settle down at some point. I'm like, what does that even mean, dude?
That is. I mean, collectively.
Quasi, you see what I say with having a lot of options and making it very difficult to choose. Here we are. We have 50. How many states do we have?
Yeah, 50.
50 something states.
Yeah,
That's
50.
a lot of options.
50.
You want to know how it feels to live in every part of the state.
But every generation had
I'm
50
coming.
states.
I'm coming. But nobody was thinking, oh, let me explore more, right? So the issue here is, because now we are more open, like we know we want to try everything else before we actually decide, okay, now I think, and even after we try everything, we are more confused, so sometimes I just feel like we thinking we have a lot of options, we have a lot of things. It's just an illusion. It doesn't help the case at all. It doesn't
help
I
the case.
think that I agree with that.
I think it's a sentiment being echoed in the comments. And let me go through a couple of the comments, right? Hill came back and said, we're just fantasizing. People are not looking for quality anymore. Rashid said, Kojo, not all of us are spoiled for choice. I believe it's most of us. Not all of us, but most. Sule is in the house. Mr. Sule, hey guys, sorry I'm late today. No problem, Mr. Sule. We appreciate you joining. And if you're watching the live stream and you haven't yet done that, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that whenever the conversations keep going, you can be in here, enjoy it, and leave a like on the video too. I think I'm really having fun recording this episode. I hope you're having fun listening to it as much as we are having fun in the studio. Mr. Song, great point, Kojo, on the education thing. It looks like we are just looking for accomplishments than settling down.
There we go. There we go. Settling down.
Song brought himself into this.
Rashid said, I don't think we are better too. However, we have access to a lot of information, and opportunities, and this has shifted our priorities as a generation. We are going to come to this point, and guys, start thinking about it. Globalization, the world becoming a global village, seeing everything happen live. Back in the day, when if something happened to someone in England or in Spain, they had to write you a letter, post it, and then in 3 weeks you didn't even get a picture, you get to read about the proposal. Now we're seeing everything live, and we're seeing everything. We have so much information, and ideas as a collective of what good is, of what we deserve. That's the one I want us to get into. Information and what we deserve. I deserve better. Me, I deserve this. I deserve. Hey, we'll come back to that.
That's entitlement.
We'll come back to that. I think millennials are probably one of the most entitled generations in the world. But I would let us dig into that. Let's get through some of the comments. Amanda is saying, Efia is speaking my mind today. Efia always speaks a lot of people's minds. I agree. A lot of people seem to be vibing with what she's saying. I wish I was there to support AY Hill.
Oh my! You should join us.
We're going to have to send you an invitation one of these days. You should come and support. I think we're going to try to expand the number of people who come onto the show. We really want to get as many voices in the room.
Good idea.
It makes it a lot more fun. We enjoy the conversation even more. But nonetheless, we enjoy you sending your comments in, and we really appreciate it. It keeps the show going and it keeps the conversation going. Thank you so much, everyone who's sending the comment in. And if you haven't done that yet, let us know you're watching. Let us know you're enjoying the conversation. Let us know what you think about this. Why are millennials not settling down? Why are they not going through life the way traditionally it's always been? Mr. Song said, another factor is how our family system has transformed. At first, you will be pushed into marriage. If you don't, they will arrange one for you. Today, we are so detached from our families together. That is absolutely true, and we're definitely going to come to that conversation. The family is not helping us much, because these days you help someone and then they're going to come blame you for everything else. And so, yeah. Hill is saying, we see it's called illusion.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of illusions and delusions, and we're definitely going to.
We're running in circles, man.
Yeah, and a lot of us are falling for the social media illusions. Like everybody wants their proposal to be a certain way, their family to look a certain way, to live in a certain place, all because we're looking at people's Instagram, and it plays a part. I mean, not that we're blaming others, but as a collective, as a society, where society is changing, and I don't agree. I don't believe it's always for the better. Some of the change in society is just absolute. Song is saying, teachers catching stray bullets. I'm sorry. It was just an example. And Rashid is saying, this is another issue. Settling down has a negative tone. Building a family is better. I couldn't agree more, brother. I couldn't agree more. The phrase, the way we say things definitely helps. Kojo is right. Settling down is negative. It looks like you're doing someone a favor. And this is one of the issues with our generation. Absolutely. The collective consciousness to certain things. We react to things even when we don't agree with. There are certain things that give us a visceral reaction. I can give you a couple of phrases that will cause you to have a certain feeling, whether or not the phrase itself is good. For example, me too. Whenever you hear the phrase me too, it's like, what happened, right? We all have a certain reaction, and I feel whether we know it or not, subconsciously making marriage look like, oh, settle down. It makes people feel like you're clipping my wings. I don't necessarily settle down when I get married, right? It's I can be able to fly free. I can be able to build a career.
Build something.
I can be able to be whoever I want to be. So instead of looking at it as settling down, we can probably, as a collective, look at it as, let's build something. Let's raise a family. I think it's I don't know. For me, it feels and sounds a lot better. PY is saying nobody's going to war. Hey, these days people are going to war, but hey, I
different war, different kind of war.
Yep.
I mean,
ice cream walls.
Yeah, Randy is in the building. Randy,
another millennial.
Nice to see you in the comments. Settling down, party. Unless what?
There we go.
Unless what, Randy? We want to hear.
There we go.
Unless what?
Unless Jesus.
PY says we did settle this year. PY, I wish you all the best. I hope you're able to
I wish you all the best.
A family. Come on, it's a beautiful thing when people want to start a family, build something. Start it there. It's a very important milestone. Don't get me wrong. I love weddings. I celebrate them a lot. I was in one a few weeks ago, and I was super happy. Kwesi was in one, and I stopped everything I was doing that day to watch the live stream and just celebrate.
You say I was in one, like I showed up to somebody's wedding.
Yeah.
I was the main character.
Yeah, Kwesi got married a few.
Character.
It was fun.
It was my wedding.
He was in one.
Yeah, I know. Kwesi's wedding. But yeah, we did live stream it, and it was fun. Jane is in the building too. Jane, how are you doing? You're missed in the studio. Your seat is getting cold. You should come back in and let's have a show again. Jane is saying, I think millennials approach things differently. The generation before us could have basic education, get a job, start a family, and pursue other things. But millennials do it the other way around. I agree. We can't do things the way every other generation before us did it. If we lived our lives exactly like every other generation, we'll be considered failures in our generation. Like everybody be like, you only stopped at sixth form. But back in the day, sixth form gave people auditing jobs, because I know, because I worked with some of them. Mr. Silly, I'm waiting to hear Kwesi's input. What went on in his family before and after his marriage?
What do you mean what went on?
I have no idea, but Mr. Sule.
Nothing went on. I don't know. Me, I'm known to be the guy that don't just take, whatever from anybody. So nobody was gonna choose my wife for me, if that's what you want to know. It was right from nobody was gonna introduce me to it. I wanted to go out and find. So then if something happens, I own up to it. I don't want to blame anybody. Like, well, you introduced me to her and it didn't work. No, I didn't want to do that. So
yeah,
absolutely. And for those of you in the live stream, I'm making you a promise. We've been working on getting Mari on the show. We're going to try and do that. And the day she's in the building, and that's Kwesi's wife, we're going to make them tell the story. And funny enough, we're going to let them tell the story differently. We want to hear everybody's perspective. Kwesi came on here and told us how he listen. We're going to make that episode happen. We're going to hear things from Imari's perspective. Aram is saying marriage is beautiful. Aram, congratulations. And I think you know more than most. And so yeah, absolutely. Rashid said main character.
Oh,
you're making
my
it sound like an episode of Real Husbands of Casa. I think that is going to be a good show. I'm going to get all my friends who've been on the Casa podcast who are married, Brian, you, and a few others, and then we're going to do the Real Husbands of Casa podcast. We're going to hear what it actually entails for those of us yet to embark on the journey. We would get in there and be like, yes, it doesn't happen that way. Song is saying, Aram, how can you tell us the story? Well, she can tell you the story because she knows. Brasile, because as millennials, these generations hardly subscribe to the extended family system. You get your partner, you move out or change location. Yes, some people even move to a whole different continent to escape their family. And so yes, I know about that. But I saw hardly subscribe and I was like, hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the time to hardly subscribe to the Casa podcast. Maxwell is saying marriage, boy, such a difficult task. How would you know, Maxwell?
I have a theory, Chrissy. When you're done, I have a theory.
Okay, we will come for your theory very soon. Song is saying, Song, I'm waiting for an invitation from you. I think Aram, you speak for the entire tribe and the Casa family when you say we're waiting for you, Song. We're waiting for that invitation, and please, you dare not invite us.
So you're not worried. Why?
This pressure is going to live on. This pressure is going to live on. The lolly is cracking up. But guys, thank you so much for sending your comments in, and please keep the comments coming. We live for the comments. We love to hear from you. We love to know you're part of the show. Now, Kwesi, you said you had something for us. Talk to me.
No, I said I had a theory.
No.
Oh, yeah, AY had a theory. AY,
Yeah,
please.
I also think,
Hit me with
right?
that theory.
I think we assume that we are the bravest generation. We are like, strong-hearted. We don't conform to this. Yet we are the scariest. Like, we are scared of marriage. Like, we are scared of what we don't even know. Because a lot of people, I can bet you, a lot of people are not yet in because they are scared of making that mistake. They are scared of the fact that they will choose somebody and then, it's going to go south. I think back then they didn't mind getting into it and then, okay, this is the wrong person, but let's see if you can make it work. Let's just try something out. They were not scared of that. We are brave, but when it comes to certain things, we are super cautious about it. Yeah, I think.
Did you just low key call all millennials and Gen Zs?
Gen Zs are not part when I'm talking. Gen Zs, I'm just talking.
So you just called millennials, okay? But again, do you blame them though? Do you blame them though? We're living in a time, especially when, again, think about it this way. Think of it as say ATVs or four-wheelers, right? And you've been on a long queue, you've been dying to get on the ATV. And everybody who went ahead of you was doing fine. Then like the last 4 people before you get on, everybody's crashing and burning. Like, divorce rates is so wild right now. We grew up seeing our grandparents together. Most of us have seen our parents together. Like, it used to be a thing where people made the decision and it's for better or for worse. And I mean, come on, marriage is not perfect. And we saw people make it through. But come on, these days, it's like they get divorced as soon as they get married. Like, I have friends who are millennials like myself who could not make it through a year of marriage. And so for me, it's like, it's almost my time to get on the ATV and everybody's crashing and burning. Wouldn't you think it would put some hessy in me? Like, I would have this.
Again, to answer that question, right? I think, it's not just one party, right? Again, we are too cautious, even though we think we are brave. Now, the moment we feel like we've made the slightest mistake, you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this again. But it doesn't work like that, right? You make a mistake and you figure things out and then you move on with it, right? I'm not saying divorce is bad. No, I mean, people have their reasons why they divorce. But I think our tolerance level is so low. Yet we cry.
Why is it our tolerance level? Because we are not the ones in there yet. We are the ones about to get married. So we are not the ones. It's the people before us. So
not the people before, the millennials that are in now that have issues currently.
No, it's not. We're not talking about people having issues in marriage. We're talking about the divorce rate. It's at an all-time high. I mean, many of these boomers and many of these Gen X's who came before us. Oh, those people were getting in and out of marriage like it was TikToks, right? They just pop one in, they don't like it, they pop it out. And so, I know a lot of people, like I've worked with people personally who are on their 4th marriage. Like, you're 80, why are you getting married again?
Hey, hold on.
Yeah, my boss was on her 4th marriage. She was 80 and she just got married to her boyfriend. And I'm like, at 80, I mean, that's a lot. But
you're talking about millennials on their 4th.
No, not millennials. No, I'm talking about, this is what millennials. So we've been waiting. We've been kids. We've been waiting, and it's like our time to get married. But divorce rates are through the roof, and so it puts some fear in you, right? And the funny thing is, it's not necessarily millennials that are divorcing. I mean, yes, they're divorcing too, but the generation before us are also divorcing. And sometimes, I mean, think about it. Look at take the world's most influential people. Take a list of the world's most influential people. Chances are 70% of them are married. None of them is a millennial. Take the world's richest people. At this point, they're all. I mean, it's like it's almost becoming now. Only 48% of marriages make it. Like 52%, so it's not even 50-50 anymore. Like, it's less than a 50% chance it works out. And so do you see why people would hesitate to get married? Like, it's like
because you had a question.
No, I was asking that when you were talking about this whole having whatever, I'm like, do you think people are, maybe we're a little selfish with unrealistic expectations? It's like a curious blend of selfishness and unrealistic expectation.
So like, what role do you think selfishness, especially social media, is playing in grooming or growing the selfishness in millennials?
Well, we're being conditioned, right? It goes on daily, right? They're conditioning us, right? I don't want to point fingers, but if I should point fingers, everybody, listen. If you sell coffins, right? You want people to die, right? So you can make money, right?
True.
Okay. The generation that raised us believed in marriage because they thought it brings this back to the word stability, right? You get married, and it's the same thing that even insurance, right? Like car insurance and all that. When you reach certain age and you're married, right? Your
rates go down. You're stable. You have a lot to live for.
Exactly. You have something to live for. You have a wife at home, kids. If you're single, drinking every Friday night, speeding out of whatever, right? Your rates gets a little higher, right? So everybody has a skin in the game, whether it divorced or married, right? The people planning the wedding want more people to get married, right?
Sure.
So back to the social media, and all these people are on social media, right? So everybody is pushing their agenda, right? They're showing you pictures of beautiful families, get married, blah blah. It's never like that. Right? It's never what they're showing you, right? And then if you divorce attorneys and blah blah blah, they want their share too, right? So there's a lot of factors. So I think it boils down to us, the individual, and I think we're a little selfish because everybody wants something without giving, right? And you can't build a team like that, right? It's like a team sport. Pass a freaking ball, right? Before you lose a game. If you're a ball hog, you don't pass the ball, you're gonna your chances of losing is higher, right? You can pass the ball and still lose, but if you don't pass the ball, you increase your risk of losing, right? So everybody's a little selfish, like, oh, I want my girl to be this, blah blah blah. I want her to work and come home, make dinner, blah. Oh, I want my husband to have this amount of money, be this, look like this, So everybody's not compromising. Nobody's perfect. You're not gonna find out like whatever you're looking for. All 10 of them in one person, right? So the conditions, they're showing us things, right? They're showing us things, and our mind is a powerful tool, right?
Interesting.
You keep looking at the same thing over and over, you're gonna start believing.
Yep. So think about it this way. Again, AY doesn't like us to point to social factors, societal issues, and I agree. I'm one person, especially when it comes to exploring why something didn't work for you. I don't want us to look at the greater picture, but as a society, because millennials are a collective, we're part of a society, and social systems work. Don't you think we're victims of an industrial complex? Everything is becoming an industrial complex. Like divorce attorneys, right? It's now becoming a thing. Like I know a lot of friends who go to law school and they're like, listen, I'm going to practice family law because like that's where the money is. Like, and people have to market it. Like you're saying, if you make coffins, you're praying that people would crock, right? And so definitely, we're creating these things, and even there was a statement AY made, and it's a statement we're getting more comfortable with as a generation. In the 50s, if you said, listen, I mean, divorce is whatever, people would look at you like, no, divorce is wrong. They had a hard line for and it's bad because a lot of people stayed in very terrible marriages. There are some people who should not have been married, but they stayed in marriages, right? These days, I think there's a utility to it. There are some people who should not be married. I agree. Some people need to be divorced. But these days, because we're getting more comfortable with the idea, some people are divorcing who should not divorce. Like the reason for why they're divorcing, listen, I back in the day of like put a band-aid on a wart, right? It's like it's becoming, everything is becoming more of an industrial thing. Like these days, people see divorce as it's just me adding to the numbers. I'm not the first one to get divorced, and I won't be the last.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
Story that the last two companies I worked for, there was a VP. I think she died. May so rest in peace. She was telling her this story, and I thought that was the craziest shit ever. She met a dude and they started dating, right? And then when they moved in, they were talking about getting married and what. And you know the reason why she left the The dude enters the shower through the back, and she think we should enter the shower through the front, where the shower head is, right? Dude pulls the curtain, and she couldn't deal with that. And when she said the story, everybody, we were just looking at it. When we left, people were like, "Wait, did she really say that?" Right?
Yeah.
She's
mean,
high achiever.
I wish I could say that was the weirdest thing we would see for why people have left marriages, but that's not. Amazingly, that's not. Sometimes you hear some of these things and you're like,
you guys are joking, right?
No, AY,
No,
I
I'm serious.
wish how people
Real.
entered the shower was the worst thing we've had for why people want a divorce. Oh my gosh, no. There's been a lot more flimsy ones. And Kwesi, you're true. It's true. There are some things you hear and you're like, you gotta be kidding. Like, that's why you left someone? Like, that's why you broke your marriage? Like, it's wild. It's wild. Not that this, and I know a lot of people have very big attachments to this, but a very good friend of mine, I was married with 3 kids, 3 beautiful kids. I have babysat these kids. I really was close to them, and they broke their marriage, and now the woman took the kids away because of their COVID vaccine opinions.
Oh, wow.
They destroyed the entire marriage. They had 3 kids, 3 wonderful kids, because the woman just doesn't agree that she should get a booster, not even the original vaccine, a booster. And they fought for months, and then she just up and left. And for 8 months, my friend has not seen his kids, and it's driving me nuts. I know it's a big deal. I know it's big, but wow. I can't. I'm like, come on. Like, I would fake taking the vaccine. I'll go to CVS and get a Band-Aid, but
you can buy vaccine.
It's heartbreaking for me. It's like the kids involved, and now the kids are becoming weapons, basically. I will let you see your kids, and it's wild. Like,
but again, you see, we are back to the fear factor, right?
I'm afraid. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
the
afraid.
fear of getting divorced, the fear of making a mistake, the fear of this, the fear of, personally, I don't like. It's
okay,
like
no, I am afraid. I'm not even gonna.
I'm afraid. Let me counter that. Yeah, I think I use myself as an example, right? I met my wife at the point where I'm like, you know what, screw everybody. I'm not dealing with anybody because I thought I've met some crazy people, right? And I'm like, okay, you know what? This is enough for me. I just want to make money and chill, right? Then I met somebody that I got along with.
That's often when you meet someone where you're like, I'm done. I've retired.
Yeah, I was legit done, to the point where like we'll go to like parties, right? And then like other females would try to say hi to me, and I wouldn't even be number. Yeah, I'll just talk. I would not ask you. Don't give me your number. I don't want your number. Let's just talk here and go home. Like, I was at that point, I wouldn't deal with anybody, right? So I think back to that, people are getting married, and the people that we're seeing do all this wild stuff that it's scaring us. The people are getting married. We're choosing partners based on, oh, he looks this way, he's this, that, not having conversation to see their beliefs, like what they believe in, like their value they bring, their mind. Last week we talked about value, right? Like their mindset, how they react when they're angry. People are getting married because of power couple. We see this picture, this image that look like us. Or people are trying to pull you into their vision board. And I was a victim of that. I had somebody that pulled me into their vision board, and I didn't fit in there, right?
Oh my gosh.
I didn't fit in there.
Oh my gosh.
So there was always like arguing over little stuff because I wasn't that guy on your vision board. Pay attention to me, right?
Not the guy in the vision board.
Not the guy on the vision board, right? She thought
you see how, right? Having options can affect you.
AY, it's not necessarily options. I remember when we were playing the it's a 10, but people would just listen, you're just an Aries, and Capricorns and Aries don't really.
Yeah,
like really.
Oh man,
that's your reason.
I can't stand it.
Like, come on. Sometimes it's
AY, people are putting people on their vision boards because you work here, you make Your salary range is here. You live in this neighborhood, right? I have been a victim of that, so I know. Like, I'm talking from my personal, my life experience, right? Somebody placed me on their board and wanted me to do certain things.
Because
right?
you couldn't do that?
Because she thought I fit in. Like, oh yeah, this is a guy, works here, that's live in this neighborhood, drive that, whatever, without paying attention to Kwesi. Like, Kwesi likes to watch it on Tuesdays, or Kwesi don't eat this. Like, that didn't matter.
And I think you mentioned it.
It was just a physical and then social economic status on the vision what they were trying to fulfill.
And I think you mentioned this last week, right? Love people for who they are. It's like she was loving you for who she wanted you to be. This ideal guy who checks some boxes on her vision board. And so she doesn't even see you and doesn't see the person, doesn't see the individual, doesn't see the person who has aspirations and goals and dreams. No. It's this thing on the board. And so when some of the boxes are not checked, you're thrown out. And it's like, these are AY, you're saying we're scared, but isn't this scary? Like, if I hear someone trying to build something, to start something with you, and all you can think about is, what does my board say? Not what do you say? Not are you comfortable? Not what are
the image they want to put out.
It's wild, man. It's wild. And
a lot of people who are unhappy because of the image they are showing us, the image they want us to see. But when the camera goes off, they're very they're not compatible. They don't even get along, right? But when they dress up and fine in their nice car and their nice house, they fit the perfect image that the couples, and then they have people gassing them up. Couples goals.
Oh my God! I think that's also one of the things that's really hindering us building something. Again, we don't. The thing with goals and the thing with social media and the things we're consuming as millennials is that we're not trying to build. We want to be there. We want to have a feast we haven't prepared. Like, goals are not things you attain at 25. Please go away with your couple goals. Come back when you're 82. When you've built something, when you've built a family. Like, going out on date night with your husband and taking pictures is not what goals are. That is not couple goals. Building a life, building an empire, doing something over a long period of time. It's like these days you go on Instagram and everybody thinks they're a life coach. Everybody thinks they're couples goals. No, you can't be 27 and be a couples goal. You can't wear matching outfits and think you're couple.
They do. You're 25, right? And they expect you to go sit at all these fancy places that you spend like
$5,000 to eat here. Why would I be there?
Right? If at this age you spending $500 on dinner, you're not gonna
make it. You're not gonna make it.
This is the truth. It's not gonna end well for you. Right? What are you? Because at your age at 25, unless you you own Facebook, you have Zuckerberg type money. If you're
even
95,
if you do, it's gonna run out. If you're going to go for dinner every day for $5,000,
and that's the expectation that I think social media is painting. A lot of because you see some guy do it, so then they expect, and you go for both genders. I'm not even talking about just they expect us to do it, right? Oh, first date on this fancy, put on your nice suit, pull up in your BMW, fancy restaurant, and bro.
I have my hand up talking about social media. What role has BBL played in people not settling down? I think it's a legit reason why people are not settling down. They're with their lovely girlfriend and they go on Instagram and they see BBL products and they're like, man, no, I'm gonna leave this one.
I can do better.
I can do better.
Social media, I swear, social media is really no, you can't. And I don't normally like all these misogynist people on Twitter and social media. But one day, one guy asked another young woman, "What do you genuinely score yourself?" She's like a 6. It's like, so what do you want to guess? Like an 8. That's how a lot of young people are. Like, you're a 2. And you go and you see BBL 9 and you're like, no, I'm not going to settle with my girlfriend or this person I have a shot with. I'm going to go for 9. Kevin, sit down, okay? You're 2. Like, build something with...
Kevin is catching straight bullets.
No, but social media and funny enough, as much as AY was saying we're scared, we're not only scared. Millennials, as much as we don't like to admit it, we're very dumb. Like, as a collective, like the things that can sway us, the things that can distract us, the thing, I'm like,
A lot.
millennials
A
are
lot.
very weak. Like, we're very weak-minded sometimes, very weak-willed. Like that grit that it takes to build nations. We need a lot of help, because the kind of millennials I hang out with, I'm like, hey, we are going to run the future someday, and BBL can dissuade you quickly. Like a guy can just drop a thousand, like they just show you pictures of money, and then that's it. You're going to leave your boyfriend. Somebody buys a Gucci bag for his girlfriend, and that's it. Your relationship has ended. Really? How are we going to raise kids? Like in a lot of ways, I'm not. But I'm not so worried that some people are not settling down and building families yet. I'm like, yeah, you might need to grow up a bit. Like a lot of us, even though we're 30, 40, some of us are still boys. Like there's a little more growing needed. The kind of things that excite them, the kind of things they jump around about. I'm like, yeah, no wonder you don't have a kid yet, because I don't know who would raise who. And so I think there's so many things, but
there's
one of
another
the things
theory, right?
focus.
I
Basically,
think
they can't focus.
stay
Stay
focused.
focused. Stay focused.
I have another theory, guys.
Let's hear
When
your
when you guys mentioned the social media, I also think it's a factor, big factor, right? So initially, as you said, before someone in Ghana, before I will see what someone else in Ghana is doing, it will take months. Like it will take years. Probably I never see. But you know, social media amplifies a lot of things. Now, someone does something, it's on the internet, you just access it easily. You see certain things, and so we are distracted. Like there's a lot of distraction. And so we focusing on building something for ourselves. It's so low. Like, oh my God. Before you actually, because if you look at it carefully, if we make certain goals for ourselves, like if you have a job, you have a family to take care of, you have somebody to take care of, you have to take care of yourself, you have to cook. Those are things that in 24 hours, I can promise you, if you're doing them diligently, it won't be enough. You won't have time to even focus on what someone is doing for their, look at what someone is doing, why something is not going, you don't have time to do a lot of things. But now, because of social media and we have access to it in our hand, it's so easy.
Some of us are addicted. Some of us are addicted to social media.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, so I think we were on the space and we were joking, and some girl came, she's in Ghana, right? And I think Kwani was playing with her or something, and Nanikwa asked what she's looking for. She said she's single, what she's looking for in a guy, right? And some of the things I'm not going to say what she said, but some of the things that she was saying, they are things that, to me, back then, people that live in Ghana wasn't their expectation, right? It was people that live. It's Western expectation of the men, right? It's like you sitting in Ghana and somebody asks you what kind of guy you want to date in Ghana, and then you mention credit score,
750 credit score.
Yeah. Like it makes absolutely no sense.
Social media, man. Social media.
Because of social media, they're seeing it. They're following people around the world, and they're learning. Even though they might not be actively like, oh, I want to be, but it's the same thing. You keep looking at the same thing over and over, and you start believing it, right? They're learning. So, like, she was saying things that I just started laughing. I'm like, wait, do you even know the average salary in Ghana? Like this, are you like? It's okay looking for nice things, right? That she never said, oh, I want a good man, or I want a man with common sense. Or a man that's not going to beat me. A man that's not going to punch me or beat me or yell at me or what. None of those things. It was like the stuff that you expect people on the West, like the girls in the West usually will say. So back to it. It's a global village now. It makes it more hard.
It's really hurting us.
How's a guy in Ghana that grew up in Ghana, went to Legon, working some job in Ghana?
How's he going to get a 750 credit score?
He hasn't lived in the West before. How is he gonna get 300? What is this? What is a credit score to that guy? It means nothing, right? So why are you gonna disqualify a guy based on that, right? What is if that guy is making $50,000 in Ghana and you ask him for 100K? Where is he gonna get 100K?
6 figures.
Working his 9 to 5 in Ghana, right? So it makes I don't know.
Let's go through some of the comments, because I think the comment section is popping today, and we really appreciate your comments coming in. I couldn't tell you more. These comments are we left off at when Song was expected to send us invitations. Please, Song is working with Nanano. Leave him alone.
Oh.
AY is on point, says Maxwell. Obiasro. Mr. Son says, Delali, thank you. They don't know I am the reason why they are all securing good men and women out there. So is the reason. You guys better give him some credit. And I totally agree with you, Ifya, says Aram. We are scared of going for what we want, but don't want to put in the work to achieve the greatest results possible. Absolutely. I think work, and it's one of the things we haven't mentioned. Listen, relationships, marriage, and all this, those are
It's
work.
hard,
And I
not
think
just work.
Millennials are
work.
one of the laziest generations when it comes to working, especially on themselves and other things. I mean, they work. I went to say this one time and I was almost slaughtered. Yes, we work. We're busily doing nothing. We're running around chasing things all the time. People don't even work on themselves one time. There's nothing they do to improve themselves and their relationships and all that. Delali is saying AY is not that it's not that they're scared. It's actually about letting go of certain freedoms. Most are very individualistic and are not ready to partner up, not only in marriage but in business as well. And I couldn't agree more. I think there's a lot of selfishness when it comes to our generation, because we're the me generation. Instagram tells you we are the first people to come up with a selfie. Like, this is just me in a picture. Can you imagine? People you remember back in the day when photos had to be a group thing or someone taking a picture of you. It's like, no, I don't need anybody. I just need my camera and me, and it's a selfie. There are a lot of interesting things. Today, AY is on fire. I couldn't agree more. Today, AY and Kwesi are on fire. I'm really loving the conversation.
I'm loving it too.
I think millennials are scared because they know they are not looking for the right thing.
That is true.
And because of the options, hence we are quick to leave thinking the grass is greener. Absolutely. Like we're saying.
Wait, who is Hill J? I don't know her or him.
Hill, it looks like you are your comments. We need to know who you are. Please reveal yourself, but you need to be in the studio, and it's absolutely true. We you have a small disagreement with your partner or the person you're with, and you go on Instagram and you see BBL, you're like, yep, the grass is greener. You don't even have this bang this guy has. Why am I wasting time with you? That's all we're doing. We're always looking around because it's in our face. Like, you don't want to. You're even on like a website reading something, and then there's an ad. You want to come on Instagram and look at these people, and like, yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely. It's so true. We're always thinking of the greener grass elsewhere. Delali is saying, Aram, I think you put it better. Absolutely. Today, I'm not gonna lie. The studio is on fire, but the comment section is on fire. Like, the comments that are coming in, like, you guys are amazing. You guys are so wonderful. And if you're watching the replay, we want to hear your comment too. Leave it in the comment section below. Like, don't just watch the video. Just leave a comment. We want to hear from you and keep the conversation going. Courage was surprised that my boss was on the fourth marriage. Yes, fourth marriage. Yep. She was.
I was surprised too.
Oh yeah, she was on her fourth marriage. I think the generation before us are also competing with us for the available marriage opportunities and the Gen Zs. Again, it's true. The other day I saw about a 70-year-old married to a 30-something, and it's like, yep, that's Son's wife. His grandfather just married. I think there's some of that too, but it's always been like that. That's the thing. It's always been like that. There's always been that 30-year-old getting married to the 90-year-old man. We don't know why it happens, but a lot of greedy people out there who don't want to play their generation. So please, if you're watching this and you are of an older generation, please date in your generation. There are a lot of singles out there in your generation. Leave the millennials and the Gen Zs for the millennials and the Gen Zs. I know this is not going to happen. I think marriage count should be a thing. Absolutely. Very soon it would be. I mean,
you're gonna flex with it. Yeah.
I know a lot of millennials who are already on their second, and so very soon, instead of asking someone their body count, people like, hey, What's your marriage count? Like 13. I hope nobody is inspired to make that their life's mission to get married the most times. And for me and my friends, I'm telling you, the second one is the only one I'm going to smile at. The third one, I'll send you a card. I'm not showing up for your third wedding. Like, no, it's too much. You get one chance. Two, if you're very
You're
close
being
to me.
mean at this point. You're
I'm
supposed
being
to
mean, but I
support
have
your
things
friend.
to do. If my friends are getting married
You
at
have
3
things
or
to
4, that's no. I can't spend all my weekends at the wedding. Come on, I can do one. So please, if you're in the tribe, please, your first one, send me an invite. Second one, send it, but I won't show up. Third one, don't even call me. Like, just go and do it and tell me later. Courage is saying, I think my count is going to be a thing very soon. Absolutely. Like, back in SHS, we were also told our girlfriends were in crèche. For me, I'm still waiting for them. Song, no. Whoever told you that wants you to end up in jail.
Keep waiting.
No. Song. No. That's absolutely not true. Like, your girlfriend is probably working with you. Open your eyes and talk to people and take a chance from time to time. Ask people out on a date. It might actually happen. Nobody is in crèche waiting for you. That's how you end up in jail. Kwesi has said it all. Kojo, you really need to prep for the couples episode edition of this episode. As single folks can learn a lot. I think, guys,
nobody's gonna make you learn. They are not coming in. Go and marry and join them, okay?
Let me move on. Let me just move on. Marriage law, a war room. Those inside are rushing out, and those outside are rushing to see what's happening in there. Absolutely. I think sometimes before we put pressure on people to start building a family, we should go and bring the people who are married to come sit here and tell us.
Oh my God.
But the funny thing is, nobody's going to sit on a podcast, especially a live stream podcast, and tell us what is actually happening. And so we don't have to find out. There's a story of a bunch of thieves that went to steal, and there was a little hole they would slide their hands in to take the money. First one put his hand in and his hand was chopped off. He put it in his pocket and he walked away like he took something, so that the people behind him would not run. So they all came and then they get snipped and they move. That's how marriage is. Put your hand in. If it's good for you, you just walk away and the rest of us will come and find out. And the truth is, even if they advised us, we wouldn't listen. Have you seen millennials? You think we listen to anything? The song is saying we're always told to marry our books and give birth to success. How do you
African parents? That's African parents.
When I still have a lot of books to marry. Oh, that is a funny one. But yeah, when we're kids, we're told that marry your books and give birth to success. For me, as a debater, they'll tell me marry your script. And so I did marry a lot of scripts. If you saw my scripts for a debating tournament, I have my script and it's folded so many times and that paper is weak. But I have been married to so many scripts, I'm sure I need to get a few divorces from these scripts before I can actually get married. And that's so true. We were forced down a certain path, and now everybody's like, why are you people here? Because we have pushed here. Nana Ofosuhine, Randy is saying, I believe a lot of people are getting divorced because marriage was forced down their throats. Absolutely. Nope. They were told, hurry up and settle down. And now they settle down and they realize we can fly. I'm an eagle. Why am I acting like a dolphin? And so now they are flying away. Now we are complaining. We are all different and have different values that make us happy. Some people are better alone than being with other people. It's one of those things we're beginning to sort of accept. Like, there are some people who would never get married, and so we should leave them be. Society doesn't realize these things and choose to force marriage down our throats. Personally, I have decided to get married when I feel I'm ready. I'm not allowing society to force it down my throat. Randy's, that is such a wonderful decision, and we all support you. I think marriage is... Ewa, you can take your not support, but the rest of us will support him. Marriage is something you have to do when you absolutely feel you're ready for it. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to get married. The people who come for your wedding, they'll come and dance and they'll go home. When the real rubber hits the road, they're not going to be there. So please, live your life on your own time. We see, these people always want to mold you into who they want for themselves, not you. Yep. Sometimes, partners try to change you into who they want. If you want that, please go find that. Don't come and take somebody's son or daughter and try to shape and mold them into, listen, someone who take them as is and be very happy. Hale has shown you a picture.
You should join the show here.
Yeah,
we're
definitely going to
more conversations about this. Not maybe settle down, but something more.
For me, dear, I'm scared of someone changing on me in marriage. But I guess we can only take a chance. And it's one of those things, right? That you get married to someone in a couple of days. Usually you get married to them, they haven't hit their goals yet. They're still on the way up. And when they get there, when they get some power, when they get some financial liberties, oh my God. It's like, who did I get married to? Like, you were not like this when we lived in a 2-bedroom house. Sometimes, success can take your partner away. When you guys were grinding and eating curry in a 2-bedroom shack, they were wonderful. Now you live in a 13-bedroom mansion and you're not happy. It's true, it happens. But like you said,
like they say, if you want to see who a man really is, give him money.
Okay. Yeah.
What about a woman?
It applies for both. I just use man, but it applies for both. Give him money, status. You're gonna see who they really are.
True, because they say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And money gives you a lot of power. Success gets to people's heads. But I like the way you ended it. It's such a very interesting thing. But Hill ended it with a very positive spin. We can only take chances. You have to take a chance, right? You have to shoot to score. Hill, people change. Even Satan used to be an angel. So you're not helping. So you're so not helping the matter. Like, oh my God. So you're saying, yeah, listen, I am dead. So I can't with you right now. So true. And it's sad though. You see how you're changing the conversation. Oh my God, so yeah. And the dumb one too. Yeah, our generation can be pretty dumb. Yeah, Ikea is saying pictures of money. Yes, Ikea. Some people see people with stacks of money and they're like, this boy can't wrap 2 coins together. He's gone. Audi. And then they move on, and the guy too goes on Instagram and sees these models, and I'm like, there's no way you can even talk to her when she's here in person. You're leaving your girlfriend to go and say hi in the DM, and you go into the DM and they're there, hi, like that, crashing and burning like flies when they've left actual things to go and DM some people. Come on, live your life and be good, and deal with real things. The grass is not greener anywhere. Rashid is saying only real ones post real pictures on social media. Unfortunately, a lot of us millennials want ideal, perfect, and amazing instead of real, of course. And that's why when the camera comes on, and you see people switch up so fast when the camera comes on. Like when they see you're taking a picture, and then when the camera goes, they start crying. It's like, who are you trying to deceive? Our generation there, even Botos can end us all. I can't say I disagree with you. Like I've seen
BBL.
Yeah, and that's why it's a big thing now. That's why everybody is going and messing up with themselves. Like they've seen it works. Like that's the feedback, right? Kwesi is saying, keep up the good work, fam. Thank you so much for joining, Kwesi. We really appreciate all the people watching, listening, sending your comments in, guys. We couldn't do this without you. It means so much to us here at the tribe. Hill is saying, busy doing nothing. I swear, it's true. Sometimes we work all day and we did nothing. Imari is in the comments. He's saying, millennials don't know the true definition of compatibility. Now that's another conversation we should have. Compatibility. And this one, I hope I can get a lot of people in the house, because I really want to hear what people like Rashid, Song, and I really want to hear this conversation on compatibility. If we have to make room, AY, you might have to scoot so that Song will come sit next to you. You two, you have to scoot so that Imari will sit next to you. We definitely have to bring in a lot more voices for this conversation. We don't have time at all, so we don't. It's so funny.
But you know the funny thing, people think they do have time, right?
No, that's a lie.
A lot of people think they have time, so they want to try everything, and when they are finally done, they'll sit, so they don't know that they don't have time. You don't have
time. Do you know that thing, right?
Let me throw in a hot fire right now.
Are we sure want to deal with your half eye?
Oh no. You see me and my friend was having this discussion the other day about a lot of people have embarked on this travel girl thing. We want to go everywhere. I'm on my 100th country. I'm on my 37th country and all that. Like, we want to do everything under the sun, right? But to find somebody to do something with, like build a life or whatever. It's like we're busy
There we
doing
go.
everything else.
There we go.
I'm looking at someone. I won't say it's a fear, but I'm looking at someone.
What do you
think
mean?
They think they can visit every country on the planet. Young woman, slow down.
And then my friend made a joke. He was like, "Oh yeah, they'll do that. And then when they're 40, they'll buy a dog and be a dog, whatever. A dog
Oh
dad, dog
my
dog."
god! Quit! See,
And
you you had to keep this to yourself.
I'm sorry for those of you dog lovers out there. Kwesi, they don't.
Oh, no.
But if you
I
have
had
a
a
dog,
dog
please don't call the dog your kid. Don't do that. Don't come and see pictures of my baby. And then
then you
no,
show up as a dog.
don't do that. Don't ever do that. Imari is saying compatibility literally means to suffer with. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not.
I
That's
didn't know.
what they aren't ready to do with someone. To suffer.
Soft life. I like it.
That is
Soft life.
exactly. A lot of people
Life.
like the
Why did I
soft
miss
life.
that?
Millennials love the soft life. Ekia Labi is saying the challenge is that many feel that they are missing out on something, not realizing that it's only through focused attention that they can build themselves. Absolutely. We're not building ourselves and we always feel like we're missing out on something. And Kwesi, that's the thing you talked about. People run around the whole world. They want to touch foot on every country. And then at the end of the day, it's like, what have you done for yourself? Yes, you've carried yourself all these places, but have you built something? Have you done something? And for most people, the answer is sadly no. Danny boy is in the house. Danny,
Oh,
I'm really happy to see you in the comments. I hope you're doing well. Speaking of options, make me laugh a lot. Most naive folk think or feel they have options, but what they fail to consider is, does the option want them to? Absolutely.
You see, when I say the dog thing, I know somebody. That is exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
You see, you might think you have options. You might think, oh, I'm not ready to settle down. I'm not ready to. I'm going to. But honestly, what have you done to be considered by these options you think you have?
There's more fishes in the sea. You catch a fish, you know how to fish.
You don't have worms. You don't have a fishing rod, and yet you think there's more fish in the
my
sea.
Can you catch a
you
fish?
know when we talk about options, right? Sometimes I think, I mean, again, options and time. I think mostly it's like the men that really think they have time and they have options at this point. You know, at a certain point in their life, they sort of feel like, oh, they can do anything, and at the end of the day, when they want to settle, they can settle because it's them that is going to look for the person, right?
Guys, Ikea just threw a wrench into the whole conversation. I had to read it. I had to read it like 4 times to get it. Listen, imagine asking George. Imagine asking how George is only for her to say, I'm married to Kojo now.
Yeah,
now that
you
took
were
me a
invited
minute.
to Kojo's wedding.
And I'm not going to explain this comment, but guys,
I don't get it. I don't get
if you don't get it, forget about it.
Wait.
Let me explain it.
Okay.
Don't explain it on
marriage number 2.
No. That's not.
That's what she meant.
Wait. Ikea, you have to explain this.
That is literally the explanation.
Oh,
Yeah,
So you
marriage
love
number
your
2.
husband and you're like, how's your husband doing? Oh, I'm with Kwesi now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And Kwesi is fine. Is anyone ready for marriage? Hey, that's another deep one. Is anyone ever ready for marriage? That's another one.
Are we even ever ready for anything?
Kwejo and Randy, can you even ever get ready for anything? There are a few things we can get ready for, but I don't know if marriage is one of them. But man, the comments keep coming and I'm going to get through all of them. Kwesi is saying, I have a question for you guys. Do you believe most people get married out of convenience? Is it wrong in the current generation? to get married out of convenience. Interesting. Some people have definitely gotten married out of convenience, but I don't know if it's wrong per se. Song is saying they turn dog moms and plant moms after buying some plants for their room. Oh my God. So you're vicious.
Please.
So you're just vicious. I swear. But guys, do you know something? I think we can keep this conversation going all day. But I don't think we should do that.
No.
I don't think we should do that. As Michael has been such a lovely conversation. Michael, if you're just joining, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
We've been trying to settle this. We've been trying to make a case for millennials as to why we don't see them hitting the milestones that everybody thinks millennials should be hitting. Like, do this at this age, do this at that age, get your first job at this point, get married at this point, have your first kid at this point. And there's so many reasons why. We've just talked about a couple of them, and the conversation has been wonderful. I've really enjoyed it. Efia and Kwesi are just on fire. These two, I don't know. You guys always make the show just wonderful.
Kwesi has stories for days, and I love it.
The comment section, guys. Today, let's just applaud for the people in the comment section.
Today
has just been wonderful. Today has been wonderful. You guys have been super amazing. It's so sad we have to bring an end to this show.
Yeah.
I've had so much fun. I wish I could stay here for the entire time. But anyway, any last words? What's your final case for millennials, please? Make a final case for millennials.
I'm not going to make a case for them.
Please
I'm
make
just
a case for
say,
them.
no, not for them, against. So what I'm going to say is, don't be distracted. You don't have a lot of options and time. Stay focused. Stay focused. A lot of us are not focused. Kwesi, what are your last words?
Man, you can do it. You can get married.
You can do
Don't
it.
let them scare you. I left the streets. I did it. If I could do it, if you know me, if I could do it, you can do it.
You can do it. You can do
You
it.
can do it. Don't pick your partner because your mom or your dad likes them. Don't reject them because your mom don't like them, or your friends. And in that bedroom, there's only two of you sleeping on that bed. So pick your happiness.
But
Don't
guys,
please people.
Kwesi said it all. But I want to take a poll before we leave. If you're still here with us and you enjoy the conversation, I have a feeling we have to complete this conversation. There's so much unsaid. There's so much to actually get into. There's so much more to add. And so if you want us to run this back with new voices in the room, probably pull Aram and Song and Rashid and a couple of other people into the room and sort of explore these things some more, please leave a thumbs up in the comment section. Just leave a thumbs up. And if we get enough thumbs up, we might run it back. We might have to run it back because I have so many things and like I said, there's so much about so many things to explore. There's so many. We haven't even talked about how expensive things have become for us. Like, we can't do the things our grandparents were doing because it's just super expensive. Grandpa used to take grandma on a date for 20 pesos. Now, I swear, 600 Ghana, you can't even get into a trotro. And so obviously, so please leave a thumbs up in there. Let us know if we should run this back. Let us know who else to bring. If you have any special person, I know Hale, we're going to try and reach out to Hale and try and get Hale in the building, but we're going to try and get as many people as we can onto the show for the next episode. We have to run this back. It looks like it's unanimous in the comment section. The thumbs up are just coming through. Everybody is sending their thumbs up and
see millennials want to get married.
You see, we want to do it. It's not that we're afraid. We want to do it.
You need more support. People did it without support. Let us think.
And so we would come and finish up this conversation next week. We're going to try and explore a few more things, like how more difficult things have become, how generally, there are a lot of things that
we have to talk about compatibility. I think it's
compatibility. Yeah, a married two has to come and explain some more on this compatibility and suffering together, because some of us are just built for the soft life. Oh, look at me. Do I look like I can suffer? No, I'm too soft. I can't suffer with anybody. if anything, I'm insufferable. I'm insufferable. And so it's really been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your comments, your thoughts with us. We've really enjoyed you being a part of this. We can't do this without you. Once again, it's you people and the listeners that make this podcast keep going. Like we can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you for enjoying the show with us. We really have fun. We hope you also had fun listening to us. And again, if you haven't done that, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, share this with your friends. I'm sure they would love to join the conversation and hear more from the tribe. But once again, from us here, the tribe, it's
Bye.
Bye.
bye. I'm going to leave you guys with this video.